audio, we have video. Christ almighty. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the shit show. And I'm not talking about America, although if you're in America, welcome to the shit show. We're in a lot of trouble, and hopefully I can take your mind off of it for however long this video is. I don't know. I have never seen this before. I can see now that the title is Meetings, Bloody Meetings. So I assume that it's about meetings. Based on this copyright restriction, I gathered that this... balls. Golly shit fuck balls. That is how I actually talk. When my entire rig is sliding off. Am I still streaming? I'm still here. Let's start recording some of this. I mean, I think it's all recording. To YouTube, anyway. That was an error. What on earth? I can't... I need a producer. There we go. And there's the one where I'm live and I can see things and someone, possibly even me, is watching. Hello, someone who is possibly me. I can't find my chat window, so if you're saying hi back, sorry. There it is. And no, there is no way to make it any different size than full screen on a different thing, I guess. This is how this goes. It's mostly technical difficulties. Okay, now I'm here and I exist and I'm in the real world and working and I can see things. So, meetings, so yes, for the probably third time, but maybe the first time since I got the microphone working, I'm McGonigal. Geiiga's been my nickname since high school, so my good friend Daniel J. Willis, who's a writer for edsource.com, award-winning journalist, pretty smart guy who knows all about horrible things, sends me these videos for me to react live to, because I have been told that the way that I react to things is noteworthy or watchable. And today it's Meetings, Bloody Meetings. 2 weeks ago, it was an episode of Queen for a Day, which was a 1950s game show where these poor women tell their horrible life stories and ask for very little, and then the audience votes on which of these women get the very little thing that they want, plus a whole lot more stuff than they could ever use. And then last week, it was Growing Up Female, which I really was not clear what their position on it was. It seemed like about the first half it was a film about, like, there was one guest who seemed to think he was in a movie about like how we smart marketers fool women out of their agency, and then the second half was bemoaning the fact that that was what life was like for women. And I really don't know if the filmmakers understood the movie they were making, or if they, it's like it seemed to wrap up with a feminist message, but in getting there, it seemed like the most cynical, horrible stuff. But today it's meetings, so what could go wrong about meetings, right? Right. So we are recording, we are streaming, I can see that you can hear me. And yes, that does make sense. So let's have it. Meetings, bloody meetings. Which I'm going to turn down a little bit. Because it's louder than I am.
Why can't you do your work while you're at work?
There isn't time. I have to go to meetings.
Is it John Cleese? That is John Cleese. That is a young John Cleese. That's our celebrity. Hi, John Cleese. I forgot I didn't listen to what you said. Let me roll you back, John Cleese.
Tim,
So John Cleese can't do work at work.
why can't you do your work while you're at work?
See?
There isn't time. I have to go to meetings. Apologizing for being late because I've been kept at the previous meeting, and leaving early, making arrangements to meet again to finish the meeting in order to get to the next meeting. This goes on till I leave work, when I can, at long last, start work. Done nearly 4 hours today.
Wow.
And do you think it would make things easier if I came and slept at the office?
Why don't you come and sleep at the meetings? Everyone else does. In fact, if it wasn't for the sleep we got at meetings, we'd never be able to work.
This isn't work, is it?
Hmm?
You are hereby summoned to appear, in that you did exceed the speed limit.
Well, I was late for the meeting at the works, wasn't I? Meeting at the office went on for hours.
Assaulting behaviour?
Well, I didn't realize that motorcyclist cutting in and waving was a policeman, so...
You waved back.
In a way. In a way.
Thursday afternoon. You won't be late for the Thomases, will you?
Oh,
No,
man,
it
this
won't take
editor.
long.
How do you get
It's a court case, not a meeting.
John Cleese and wind
all
up
the same
with
thing,
boring
really,
as
aren't
an actual meeting?
A lot of people in a room, trying to establish what happened and why.
I hate it when people
So
are in
what to do
rooms.
about it?
Nothing like each other at all. In a court you have rules, procedures. It's all organized. Meeting, you just... meet.
So I guess it's a good time to plug the Army Simple Sabotage Manual. Oh, excellent on the freeze frame there. The Army Simple Sabotage Manual will tell you how to shut down any kind of Imperial or other organization, one of which is one of the methods was described by John Cleese in that first snippet there. If you are in a meeting, you can continually ask questions that have nothing to do with the meeting, just to slow everything down. That is the objective. Just throw gears in the works. Let's go on. With that glorious yawn.
Timothy James Brown-Smith, you are charged.
Timothy
sharing
James
without
Brown-Smith.
due thought and preparation, failing to signal your intentions to the meeting, negligent ordering of the agenda,
Hey, is that Grand Moff Tarkin?
not being in full control of your discussion, and failing to record decisions of the meeting. How do you plead?
What?
Look, I think I'm supposed to be in a meeting.
But this is a dream.
Yes?
Well, you can't have a meeting now. You're in bed asleep.
Well, supposing I've got a meeting in this dream.
Well, then it won't matter if you don't turn up.
Oh.
Anyway, these are very serious charges. If proven, they amount to cold-blooded time-wasting and conspiracy to obstruct the course of good decision-making.
Why pick on me? My meetings are no worse than anybody else's.
You don't test your own innocence by proving the guilt of others.
Yeah.
Charge. Chairing without due thought and preparation.
Evidence.
Will you kindly cast your mind back to 6 minutes past 10 on the morning of April the 7th this year? Your weekly production meeting?
Your weekly production meeting. All right. And of course, there are so few British actors in any
Sorry, I'm
way
late.
that you probably recognize all of them if you watch Doctor Who, the classic
And
Doctor
on
Who.
as usual. Bloody waste of time.
Especially British
Nice
actors.
to see you all again.
UK and
Now.
US.
Well, how long is it going to take this morning, Tim?
Well, depends what we've got to discuss, really.
You might take the things you need me for first. I should be on the floor.
I should think so. Well, nice to see you all again. Gosh, is it really a week since we met? Seems like yesterday.
It was yesterday.
What?
We had to make a decision on the overtime rates.
Oh, so we did. Oh, Howard.
Hello.
Sorry?
Yeah, murmur.
Have we started? Yes. Right, well, nice to see you all again, as I say.
What are we talking about this morning?
What are we talking about?
Well, we better talk about that first.
I'll do an agenda.
Who's here?
One, the agenda. Ian's got to go pretty sharpish, as I say.
What have you got?
I'd like to talk about the night shift standbys.
Well, I had a word with Frank about that, and he thinks that 2 will be enough until we get the new B265s.
What about the weekends?
We'll see what you think of this.
What do you think about it? Let's sit here and watch you read. Read it, read it, read it, read it,
Well,
read
what
it.
else we got?
Yeah!
Well, I always think it's very useful to get together like this.
Yeah,
you know,
very
to
useful.
see
There's any point in having got together.
What?
Good.
Oh,
This
Tim, I
meeting
saw
could have been
Hawkins
an
on
email.
Friday.
But email wasn't
Well, he
invented
thinks
yet.
we'll be okay until the last quarter, but he did point out that the new cooling system has got problems.
Oh, I've been taking care of that. It wasn't the cooling system at all. They were using the wrong coolant. Hadn't read the instruction manual. The old model used to take grade X, and this new one takes double X. So the whole thing started overheating, and the bearings seized up on number 2 machine. And of course, they were all standing around blaming the machine instead of
There
trying to
we
work
go.
out what they'd done wrong
Mr.
themselves.
Smoker.
So they replaced the bearings, and there's no damage, and everyone seems to know about the double X now, so we shouldn't have any more trouble there.
Now, what about the triple
Good,
X?
right. Well, what else we got to talk about?
No, nothing for me.
Nothing for me.
Nope. No. No.
No.
Good. Right. Well, there wasn't anything anyone wanted to talk about.
That was a...
Including yourself?
Yes?
Why have the meeting then?
It's the weekly meeting.
Supposing you hadn't had it,
Well, we have it every week. We always have.
why?
It's the weekly meeting.
You mean it's like climbing Everest? You do it because there.
Look, there's normally plenty to talk about.
Well, there wasn't that time.
No?
Then why didn't you cancel it?
Cancel it? Look, I don't know what they want to talk about until they get there, do I?
Not if you don't find out beforehand, no. Not if you chair without due thought and preparation, no. I mean, really. Supposing I conducted my court like that.
Prisoner at the bar. You
Wait, do the
stand
judges
charged
really know
with...
what's going to be going on in court before they get there? I mean, I guess they know
Doesn't
the
appear to be
schedule
charged with
'cause they
anything,
said
my
it,
lad.
but-
Who made out this indictment?
Hey, it's John Cleese.
I did, sir.
But it's blank.
Yes, well, I thought that would give everyone a chance to contribute. You know, let the feeling of the court emerge. You know, play it by ear.
I think you'd better tell us what the charge is.
Well, I haven't given it that much thought, to be quite honest. Things were a bit hectic down the station this morning. I thought we could sort of work something out when we all got together.
I mean,
No, well,
that's just the American jurisprudential system. One plan.
You see?
You see.
You're a menace. Absolutely hopeless.
You're not supposed to talk to me like that.
Don't blame me, it's your dream. It's disgraceful.
I'm not
Total
actually
waste of
doing
everybody's time.
Well, not a total waste. I mean, we sorted out that stuff about Hawkins and the cooling system, and David was able to clear up the standby thing with Jack. I mean, we got something done.
But those things could have been done over the telephone or in each other's offices. You didn't need a meeting for that.
Well, just let them
I
happen
mean, to ask
naturally.
you the question that you should have asked yourself. What was the meeting intended to achieve?
Well, it was the week.
What would have been the consequence of not holding it? So,
We would have missed the weekly
conducting
meeting.
a meeting means, stage one, preparing yourself so that you're quite clear what the meeting is for.
Mm-hmm.
And then, stage 2, making quite sure that everyone else is clear as well.
Yes, I know you mean an agenda. Well, I do those sometimes.
Like a fortnight ago? Yes, I was coming to that.
Yes.
Second charge, failure to signal your intentions to the meeting. The morning of June the 12th, 10 a.m. precisely.
10 a.m. precisely.
Right, everyone got an agenda?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yay, agenda.
Now, item 1, improving company communications. I think we all understand the problem. Ron.
It's a problem, all right. It'll cost a lot of money to solve it.
Now, you mean staff costs?
No, not staff, equipment.
Yes.
Well, surely it's management time at the root of it.
No, equipment. At least 6 more video display units.
What?
Look, if you want sales and accounts to have direct access to data, then you
Look, I'm sorry, Ron. I mean, we may be able to deal with this later on if there's time, but can we take item 1 now?
Well, I am taking item 1, improving company communication.
No, Ron, it's not the computer, it's the telephones. Look, every time we try to get through down there, they're engaged.
Huh?
No, it isn't.
What?
I'm talking about the staff briefing sessions, how we brief the staff on this year's company results.
What, the company results? I thought you wanted an automated switchboard. I mean, you know the hold-ups we've been having down there.
Look, I'm talking about company communications.
So am I.
So am I.
Delightful.
How can we communicate if the phone's always busy?
Look, the whole point of this was to get ideas on how to brief the staff on this year's company results.
Well, why didn't you say so?
Well, I mean, hasn't anyone done any thinking about this?
I spent 2 hours yesterday
Ah.
designing an improved layout for the House magazine.
That was your first misdemeanor. And then, hardly 20 minutes later,
I know.
And they're still in the damn
Right, item 6, expenditure on maintenance on the B1265, the B219. Ron.
Oh, good. I am informed that I'm
Well,
on
I've been through this, and I can't see where we can cut back.
I agree. I feel very strongly that we'd be...
What?
What?
I was talking about this a
What
few
he feels
weeks
very strongly
ago.
about.
When?
Spend more money?
Yes, how we postponed the re-equipment program.
What?
Oh.
What? Okay. No, nobody.
Right.
Well, what extra maintenance will they need? What'll it cost?
Well, I can't tell you off the top of my head.
Look, the point of putting this on the agenda...
Well, then let's think.
Well, we better take this on Friday too.
I better come then. Dan.
Ian, will you please have some figures then? Last item.
Within what limits? £10,000?
No, 10 to 15%.
Oh, thanks for telling me.
Number 7, the
I don't know,
sterling
it seems
contract.
like all the
Jack,
problems
what
with
are
this
the labour
company are that
estimates?
John Cleese
Well,
doesn't
Fred's
know
kept me
anything
waiting
that's happening
because
in
he's
it.
got a problem with the overtime rates. He's not sure.
You mean you haven't got them?
Well, I'll have them tomorrow evening latest.
I need a decision on this today.
Today?
Yes, look, it says sterling contract, estimates and terms. I mean, isn't that clear?
I thought we were just reviewing it.
Well, we can't decide anything without George, can we?
Why not?
Well, he's got to agree the delivery date, and that affects the pricing.
Well, we better take this on Friday too.
We should just have come on Friday.
Friday. There goes Friday.
Well, we can still decide on some of the figures, can't we?
Yes, why not?
Get something done. Will George be here Friday?
Yes, he will be.
Well, we can decide the materials budget.
Yes, we can.
what are the corresponding figures on the Ashcroft deal? Have you got them?
No, of course he doesn't.
Look, I think it's best if we take this all on Friday. Decide it all in one go.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I'm going to keep mine. I'm going to frame it.
Well, at least I had an agenda.
No, you didn't.
What?
This is just headings jotted down to remind you of the topics. An agenda's not just a chairman's crib card. It's a brief for all the others to work from. It's got to define the direction and the area of the discussion and its end purpose. Really? I mean, imagine that sort of thing in my court.
Call the first witness, James Dugdale. Now, you are James Dugdale?
I am.
That's a terrible name, James Dugdale.
I said James Dugdale, lad. Blood, James Dugdale. James Dugdale, blood.
Well,
Well,
Well, that's all it says, my lad. First witness, James Dugdale.
well, who or what is Mr. Dugdale?
it's a person.
I'm an expert.
He's an expert, my lad.
Exactly what kind of an expert?
Witness, an expert witness.
I'm an expert on Renaissance art.
On Renaissance art, my lad.
Well, why have you called him?
Well, he is an expert on Renaissance... Oh.
Here to testify about the painting.
He's here to testify about the painting, my lad.
Did he sell it?
It's a fake. The painting's a fake.
He's here to say that it's fake, my lad.
So we know exactly what Mr. Dugdale is, why he's here, and what we expect to get out of him. Now, where is the painting?
The painting is at the police station, my lad, for safekeeping, along with the man who is alleged to have sold the... how about this Friday? Do you make it? All right for you? Anyone not managed Friday?
So make it clear to everybody what is being discussed, why it is being discussed, and what you hope to achieve from the discussion. And anticipate the people and information that you need, and make sure that you've got them.
Look, I do all those things sometimes.
But not always.
Well, of course not. I haven't got the time.
If you use that excuse again, I shall have you hanged. Twice.
Twice?
Don't argue. And anyway, even when you do get all that right, you still make mistakes with your agenda.
Like what?
Third charge. Negligent ordering of agenda and criminal misallocation of time.
What does that mean?
Perhaps this will refresh your memory. September the 20th last year, 3:25 in the afternoon.
Right, that's item 1 for decision, allocation of parking spaces in the new park, 6 spaces for marketing and PR, 4 each for production management, works management, and 8 for admin.
For review after 3 months.
Yes. Does that really take 15 minutes? Right, item 2, for decision, McKenna Brothers order for 250 L3s for delivery 31st October. Do we accept the order, or is October 31st too tight?
The L3s are practically obsolete.
Marcus, they're not obsolete.
Well, we ought to be selling them then. The L5s are more durable, they're easier
Look,
to
I
handle.
want to take this order if we can. It's McKenna's, right? If we can do this, they may come back.
Right. Well, I think we're making a mistake.
Look, I'm sorry, it's 10-2.
Yes, well, if we hadn't wasted 50 minutes discussing the bloody parking...
That was urgent. The park opens on Monday. Ron, how can we do this McKenna job?
Well, we'll have to do the L3s on number 2 and 3 machines tomorrow and Thursday.
Well, no, just
that makes
can we
perfect
just...
sense to me. Why don't we? The L5s are just too expensive. Don't
That'll
bother, let
mean
them break.
completing the Ashcroft B19s over the weekend.
How much overtime?
Not too much.
Right, that's it then. Now, item 3, for information, forward maintenance schedules on the batchwork machines. Off you go, Ian.
Nice to get a word in.
You want to chair this?
Oh, not now. I just want to say that I've got to rewire machines number 2 and 3 over the next 3 nights.
Oh, Christ.
Look, I warned you last week.
Well, won't it wait till the weekend?
Ah, if you don't mind the place going up in smoke.
Well, what about McKenna's L3s?
YP.
What?
Your problem.
Well, why didn't you mention this while we were discussing it?
I've been trying to.
I've been sitting here quietly
do,
waiting
Ron?
for you to ask
Well,
me
Not
about
take
it.
the order?
We'll have to put number 4 onto the L3s, and now that will mean more overtime on the B19s. So we may have to ask our shop for a few hours' grace on Monday.
Right.
Right.
That's the plan. Bonus rates next. David, would you ask Bert to come in, please? So that's 2, 3, and 4 on the L3s, and I'll call Ashcross after this.
Why don't we off McKenna's the L5s?
Because they don't want them. Item 4, bonus rates. Bert, sorry to keep you waiting. Bert, before we get on to the bonus rates, we need quite a bit of overtime this weekend. Do you see any problems?
Yes.
What?
You know.
I don't.
I don't think my members will agree to weekend overtime. You see, we're a bit worried about the bonus scheme.
Right. Well, we'll talk about the bonus scheme first then. Then if we can get that sorted out, we'll deal with the overtime. We know about the maintenance situation now, so then we can go back to item 2 and see...
whether to take the McKenna order or not.
I know what you're going to say, but the parking spaces have got to be done.
Very well. Put it first because it's urgent and polish it off in 5 minutes because it's unimportant. You can even put 5 minutes against it on the agenda. Culpable failure of time planning. The failure of order planning was even worse.
Well, how was I to know about the bonus argument? How was I supposed to know about the maintenance?
How were you supposed to decide whether to accept an order before establishing that you had the men and the machines to fulfill it? Imagine a clerk of the court planning the sequence of events like that.
It is indeed a straightforward case, my lord. So I will now ask the clerk of the court to read the depositions taken from the witnesses at the magistrate's
examples
court.
here don't seem any
Thank you, my lord.
less bizarre than the actual British justice system. Why are they all wearing wigs?
I, Edward Lynn, tobacconist of 44 the High Street, Croydon, do declare that I saw the red van driving away from the scene of the accident. The driver seemed rather...
250-year-old trend. A flash in the pan.
Always been a good son to me. This is it. I, George Percy Thomas of 16 the Dale, Esher, do declare that I saw the second collision clearly, as I had turned round immediately after the first...
What is that?
The weather conditions in the month of May, during which the accident occurred, my lad.
Fascinating.
Who saw the first accident?
Oh, this man, my lad. Harry sang out of the sideboard? What?
John Cleese is every character
a
except for
lorry
the judge
swung
and the meeting
out
people.
of the side road. Sorry, my lad, we didn't have time to get this type.
Why didn't you?
Oh, this took ages.
Ages.
Okay. So did you get all that?
Look for logical connections between different items and arrange them in the necessary order. Allocate time so that the important items get the fullest discussion, even if they're not urgent. Well, that's the agenda.
Can I wake up now?
Certainly not. Your worst crimes are still to come.
I'm supposed to be getting some rest.
Fourth charge. Not being in full control of your discussion.
When?
Let's just take last Monday, shall we?
When you were screaming at the cleaners.
So you'll deal with that.
Okay. Right, item 4, discipline. I don't think there's too many problems, but I've got to review the discipline agreements with Bert this week, so, what does anyone think?
Well, they're still nicking knives and forks from the canteen.
I thought that had stopped.
Oh, you stopped. About 10 minutes.
Oh, well, you expect a bit of that. How much is it going on?
Enough.
My problem is that people are still clocking on for each other.
What your lads need, Ron, is a bit of discipline.
Depends what you mean by discipline.
I'll tell you what I mean by discipline. Nailing a few of them to the front gates, that's what I mean.
Shut up, Marcus. What I'm getting at is there won't be much of your kind of discipline till we get the hygiene factors right.
Well, which ones are still wrong?
Well, for a start, look, are we talking about problems or solutions? Because if it's solutions, then we should start by trying to shorten discipline procedures.
I think we've got to review the problems first.
Okay, well, here's one. Now, can we really expect a supervisor to control a group of 45?
I'll tell you the problem. We can't even control the bloody supervisors.
They're all right.
So are mine. Good lads. I scratch their backs and they scratch mine.
It's very kinky. All right. All right. Well, that's all.
Well, you think the supervisors might need more training?
No, it's much more a question of giving them fewer men to supervise.
If we could get them to fill the men in where the company's at, to involve them more.
They're just not interested in things like that, David. I mean, my lads are okay, but they won't even read the safety notices, unless I hold them up to them like that.
I'll tell you what the problem is.
Oh.
They're bone bloody idle. We've got to sack a few of them. That'll wake them up.
Yeah, and get another Jones case.
Amazing, wasn't it? It was absolutely useless.
I don't believe this
we
new
couldn't prove it, could we?
Another Jones case.
Do you call that a discussion?
Well, we were sort
That
of...
wasn't a
Not
discussion,
for a
that was
moment
group
known what they're
therapy.
talking about. The L5s
The discussion's got a
and
structure,
the L3s, that's
like
the
we have in
closest
this
I've
court.
gotten in any of their meetings.
First, state the
Including-
proposition. Next, produce the evidence.
Including
Then you have the arguments about what the evidence proves.
the thing these
Then you
people are
come to a
doing here.
conclusion, a verdict.
Courtroom.
Then and only then can you decide on the action, the sentence. Otherwise...
I now declare the case open and hereby sentence the accused to 3 months. So now we'll have some evidence, but only a bit, and then I shall ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, to reach your verdict. Then we'll hear what counsel for the defence has to say, but I shall interrupt, demand some more evidence, change my sentence, and then sum up. Then after coffee, we'll have a bit more evidence, see if your verdict's still right, give the prosecution a run, then we'll all have a great big raffle, and the winner can read the charge.
Structure the
Is this supposed
discussion
to be a
in
preview
stages,
of what
so that
our
all the
justice
evidence
system's gonna
comes
be?
before the interpretation of the evidence, and all the interpretation before the deciding on the action. Keep the stages separate, and stop people jumping on or going back over old ground.
Well, I can do that bit sometimes, you know. What about last Wednesday?
What about
It was
last
all right
Wednesday?
at the start.
But it's not just inflation, because Universal International's costs have not gone up as much as ours.
I think we ought to change suppliers.
Oh, hold on here. We're still establishing reasons. I mean, how do you know our suppliers are costing us too much?
Well, I'm pretty sure.
But they supply UI as well.
So it can't be that. Right. We're still trying to get at the reasons behind our cost problem. Howard, one meeting at a time, please. What are the reasons for our rising costs? David.
You see?
I did that okay, didn't I?
Yes, full marks. But you lost them all 2 minutes later.
What do you mean?
5th charge. Failure to summarize and record the discussion.
Summarize and record.
Okay,
your
last item. Ian, can you bring us up to date on progress on the pay structure review?
Well, I haven't been able to take it any further, really. Look, I can't until the Joint Negotiating Committee meet and decide about the regrading claims. When are they going to meet, David?
Well, George was going to arrange that, wasn't he? Because he wanted to be there to put his case.
I thought you were going to fix a meeting quickly, as you needed to know.
But Ron usually does that.
Usually, yes, but as George said he wanted to be in on it, we said we'd leave it up to him.
That's what I thought. George would know.
But George isn't here.
Who the hell is George?
Must have been him then.
I thought it was you, Ron.
George.
Look, would you like to take a vote on it?
Scottish plaid guy.
Surely we decided that Ian would coordinate with George and Ron.
We decided to take the
Ian's coordinating
necessary
with
action.
George and
Which
Ron.
meant that Ron would make sure the committee consulted George.
Not in this case. It was George's job.
Next item. To discuss and decide exactly what we did discuss and decide at the last meeting.
Well, before we decide that,
Yes?
oughtn't George to be here?
But I thought everyone knew what had been decided.
Supposing we did that. You have been found guilty, but before I pass sentence, I must ask the court if you have any previous convictions.
Well, I'm not absolutely sure, but I've got a hunch we did him about 5 years ago for forgery, or it could have been arson, but he thinks he was taller.
No, it wasn't arson. It was him. I'd swear to that. And it was forgery. But I reckon he got off.
No, never.
Well, didn't anyone write down what the judge said?
No?
Why not?
Well, we all thought we knew what had been decided. Sorry.
This is every supervisor.
So finally,
I've ever had.
summarize and record. Do you think you've got it now?
I think so.
Is it safe to let you wake up? I have the public to think of, you know.
It is absolutely not safe to
I'll
let
tell you
him
what.
wake up. Don't even think
If you
about
can
it.
summarize this dream, I'll give you a conditional discharge.
Thank you, Mother.
And
Right,
nope, because he didn't write it down.
ladies and gentlemen, let us record our 5-stage plan for shorter and more productive meetings. Stage
Plan,
1,
binge,
plan.
purge, eat.
Clear your mind about the precise objectives of the meeting. Be clear why you need it, and list the subjects. Stage 2, inform. Make sure everyone knows exactly what is being discussed, why, and what you want from the discussion. Anticipate what information and people may be needed, and make sure they're there. Stage 3, prepare.
Well, I got the first letter.
Prepare the logical sequence of items. Prepare the time allocation to each item on the basis of its importance, not its urgency. Stage 4, structure and control. Take the evidence stage before the interpretation stage, and that before the action stage, and stop people jumping ahead or going back over old ground. Stage 5, summarize all decisions and record them straight away
with the name of the person responsible for any action.
No,
May I wake up now?
How do you feel? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Guilty.
Conditionally discharged. However, if you have not learned your lesson, if you continue to waste other people's time,
you will spend
find yourself
eternity in the
doing
dream
some of your
realm.
own.
Or you'll just have to listen to that alarm clock forever.
Oh, bloody meaty.
Anything wrong?
No, nothing, dear. I think I'll just do a little thinking about that meeting this morning.
That's how they get you. Inception, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think it's Darren Aronofsky's best. But again, the music is just top notch. If Andrew Sargent's related to Dick Sargent or Sergeant York. And the film melts away. Oh, is there more? Like, the play meter goes on for a while from here, but it might just be this. I mean, I like it. I dig it. But, yep, there we go. There's the end of the film. So, meetings, bloody meetings. Wasn't that wonderful? Did we have fun? I had fun. I think it'd be nice if, yeah. I'm going to try to pull Willis in this weekend, and we'll talk about what we've seen on this. This was certainly the least horrifying one that he's sent me so far, which I appreciate. I mean, I really appreciate that this did not make me existentially sad. Inherently. Because that has been the theme of the previous two videos, was that the main thing that I felt once it was complete was not joy or elation, but simple existential sadness, which I feel all the time now in 2025. So it's nice to watch John Cleese be a fool at meetings for a while, I think. So, it's the weekend. Relax if you can. Burn stuff down if you must. Bye.